Hi, welcome to Hoops, Helmets, and Heels, episode 4. This is Rachel the Dime Diva. Are you ready to talk some sports? So today I am running it back. I got some good feedback that y'all enjoyed the NBA Bad Boys episode for episode 3. So we are going to do NBA Bad Boys Part 2. And this time it's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers edition. So, just to let you know from the jump, we are not going to be talking about LeBron. We're not going to be talking about King James, but each of the people in this Bad Boys story time are related to King James in some way, shape, or form. And he for sure contributed to their notoriety because the teams that James played on with the Cavs were so well known and widely covered that it made all the players on the team, especially the starting players, they were basically celebrities in addition to being NBA players. So that contributed to some of the stories that we'll hear here today. And yeah, we are in for another treat of messiness and sports colliding with music. Okay, so let's start off with our first NBA bad boy for this week, and that is our guy, J.R. Smith. Okay, this is J.R. Smith, aka J.R. Swish, because he was known for making 3-pointers and being flashy on the court during his time in the NBA. J.R. is a 39-year-old. He is a former NBA player. He went to the NBA straight from high school, and he played on the Cavaliers during their 2016 championship run. So let's kind of rewind a little bit with JR to talk about his bad boy reputation. Starting in about 2005 to 2006, JR started to get in on the court trouble for various issues that would follow him throughout his career. So that season, the 05 to 06 season, JR began as the starting shooting guard on the Hornets. And he quickly fell out of favor with Hornets head coach at that time, Byron Scott, who felt that JR had poor work ethic and ended up benching him towards the end of the season. He wasn't even in the rotation. And this will come back later in JR's rap beef, where the rapper who JR was beefing with called him a bench rider. And sometimes, yes, JR was benched multiple times in his career for on the court foibles and not really having his head in the game as he should. In 2006, JR also served a 10-game suspension for his involvement in a melee between the Knicks and the Nuggets. At this time, he had already been traded. He was playing for the Nuggets, and he was playing at Madison Square Garden, got into a fight with other players on the field or on the court, resulted in a suspension. In 2009, JR was suspended 7 games by the NBA for reckless driving. He pled to a reckless driving charge, but then he also had so many violations during that prior year that the NBA just said this is getting out of control, and they suspended him for 7 games. Let's fast forward to 2012. During the 2012 to 2013 season, JR was fined for posting a picture of a musician named Tahiri Jose on Twitter. So this is his first connection to the hip hop world and messy interactions therein. So Tahiri is known for her appearance on the television show Love and Hip Hop. And she gained, I would say she's mid-level famous. She's known by some, especially those that follow the hip-hop community, that follow the blogs for Black entertainment and stuff like that. And she was not only known for Love and Hip Hop, but Tahiri was also known for dating the rapper and now prolific podcaster Joe Budden. And so what happened in this incident in 2012 is that JR posted a semi-nude photo of Tahiri, showing off her large posterior from a laying down side angle on Twitter, and the NBA just deemed that that was not safe for work. It was inappropriate, and he was actually fined $25,000, which is a lot for just posting a an entertainer and musician. She was not fully nude. But it did really show a lot of her rear end, and so I suppose that the NBA felt that that was inappropriate. But yes, it was a hefty fine, and I'm assuming that his history with the NBA and getting different fines and stuff added to that. Let's see. So in 2012, that same year, JR was actually named Sixth Man of the Year. So he had some professional success going on while he was being fined. And this was when he was with the Knicks. And unfortunately, that same year, he received another suspension, this time 5 games, for violating the NBA's anti-drug policies. So something about JR that I realized when I looked up his history is that he went straight from the NBA to high school, straight from high school to the NBA. A lot of this stuff actually makes sense when you think about somebody being 18 years old, suddenly being given millions of dollars and being forced to be independent. That's, it makes sense that he would struggle with figuring out how to behave in a mature manner. Let's see. So when JR was traded to the Cavs in 2016, this was the championship year, there was only a few months that went by when he was suspended again. This time it was for the first two games of the Eastern Conference semifinals, because during the first round of the playoffs in 2016, when the Cavs had been playing the Boston Celtics, JR got into a scuffle with Celtics player Jay Crowder and swung at Jay Crowder's head, which you can't do that. And so he was suspended for 2 games. And this is huge because it was the Eastern Conference semifinals. However, we know that the Cavaliers did go on to win the championship, so it hurt the team, but obviously not too much in the scheme of things. A couple of years later, on March 2nd, 2018, JR was suspended again for one game this time, for throwing a bowl of soup at Cavaliers assistant coach Damon Jones. I don't know what to say to that. So this is the most infamous J.R. Smith bad boy moment. As you can see, most of his bad boy stuff is really just on the court, like being kind of a knucklehead, and nothing too extreme. But in game 1 of the NBA Finals in 2018, JR was playing with the Cavs against the Golden State Warriors, and he mistakenly thought that the game was in the lead for the Cavs, so the Cavs were winning. So because he mistakenly thought that, he was trying to dribble out the clock. Now, in reality, the Cavaliers were tied with the Golden State Warriors. And so by dribbling out the clock, he was ensuring that the game was going to overtime and that the Cavaliers were not going to get a last-minute shot and attempt to win the game. This was an infamous meme of LeBron shaking his head, looking distressed, looking disgusted, like, ugh, how could you possibly be this dumb? That's where this came from. That's where the meme came from. So the game was ultimately tied after JR held the ball, and the game went to overtime. And unfortunately, the Warriors won that game and ended up sweeping the Cavs. And honestly, JR is due the infamy for that moment, because as a professional basketball player, your situational awareness is critical. You need to know what time it is in the game. You need to know what the score is. You need to know how many fouls there are. You need to know what the situation that you're in, especially at the end of a playoff game, you can't be unaware of basic things like what the actual score is. So, JR, you got to take that L. Now, his rap beef, in addition to having the Tahiri situation happen on Twitter, he also has a connection to hip hop in that he had a back and forth beef with rapper and singer Tory Lanez. So rapper and singer Tory Lanez is notorious for having shot Meg Thee Stallion in the foot. And I say that he shot her because this was decided by a jury of his peers. He was convicted of shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. So he did shoot her. Now, Tory was called out by JR on Twitter. JR is very active, as we see, on Twitter. And JR had some strong words about how he did not support men shooting at women. He thinks that that's very lame behavior, and I agree. So Tory ended up naming JR on Tory's response track. He kind of responded to quote unquote all of his haters regarding the Megan Thee Stallion situation. And the track was called Daystar. That track mentioned J.R. Smith and accused him of having a subpar NBA career and also being a bench writer. And, you know, I ultimately support JR in that battle because although I like Tory Lanez's music, I also agree with JR that shooting a woman is not manly behavior and it's not something that's admirable. So I have JR's back on that one. Okay, so let's move on to bad boy number 2, who is Daniel Gibson, and his nickname is Booby. So Daniel Gibson is also 39 years old. He's a former NBA player. He was drafted second by the Cavaliers in the second round by the Cavaliers in 2006. And he played 7 seasons for the Cavs. He only played for that one NBA team during his career. He's really more known for his off-the-court life than his play during his career, which, you know, it makes sense because he was married to a prolific and amazing and famous R&B singer named Keisha Cole. So that's really how I got to know Daniel Gibson, is that Gibson was in that show with Keisha Cole on BET called Keisha and Daniel Family First. So that's how I got to know him. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the players who played with LeBron during his heyday were kind of just like celebrities in their own right because everybody was watching LeBron's games. His games were constantly on ESPN primetime. I mean, they still are to this day, you know, 10 plus years later. So, yes. So let's kind of get into Gibson and his story and how that intersects with hip hop and how it gets messy. So, Gibson was married to Keisha Cole from 2011 to 2014. They ended up having one son together. During the marriage, Gibson actually was frequented on the blogs. They talked a lot about him and just different behavior, potential cheating scandals, potentially being erratic. And this was also documented on Keisha and Daniel Family First on BET. During July of 2013, during the marriage, some erratic behavior did surface. He faced a charge, Gibson. He faced a charge of second-degree battery after allegedly striking a man and breaking his jaw outside of a local nightclub. So let me just say, when it comes to NBA players, rappers, social media influencers, anyone who has like a celebrity status, I really don't hold too much fault on them if they're getting into scuffles and fights at clubs and stuff, because let me just say, like, these men are haters. A lot of the men are jealous of them and will actually come at them for fights and start stuff with them and then turn around and try to sue them for money or bring police charges against them, even though they were the ones to provoke the situation. So I'm kind of going to give him a pass. I don't know that that's necessarily bad boy, but it's, you know, it fits in with the theme. Now, Gibson also appeared on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, and he appeared on MTV's The Challenge, The Champs versus the Stars. Something admirable about Gibson that I wanted to point out is that during 2012 to 2013, which was as he was kind of finishing out his NBA career and his marriage to Cole was disintegrating, he was going through a lot. He also, I believe, dealt with some deaths in the family during this time. So during that time of 2012 to 2013, he began writing music to cope with his depression and anxiety. So I just want to say, in terms of the athletes that, start so young and they're really focused on getting their athletic prowess up and excelling in their sport, a lot of them really aren't taught a lot of the life skills and the emotional stability skills to manage the difficulties of the NBA, the difficulties of fame, the difficulties of wealth, and all that goes along with it. So I'm really happy that he is, experienced in channeling his pain and difficulties through music. And I hope that maybe he can speak to future NBA players, maybe at their trainings or the rookie camps or whatever, just to remind them, like, you got to take care of your mental as well. And we'll see with the next NBA bad boy why that's so critical, because this individual has been struggling for years. And the person that I'm speaking on is Delonte West. This is Delonte West. This is him kind of back in the day, when he was playing in the NBA. And it's just been a really far fall from here, and we have a lot of hope that it can get better for him. And I really do have him in my prayers right now as we speak. So Delonte is 41. He's from the Washington, D.C., DMV area, and that will become relevant as we hear more about his trials and tribulations. He rose to fame playing at St. Joe's. He was one of the iconic backcourt involving him and Jameer Nelson. It was a great time in college basketball. They went to the Elite Eight in 2003 to 2004. I remember being in high school, watching the games and, just living my best life. And so Delonte does hold a special place in my heart because I remember watching him from the beginning all the way through his NBA career. In 2004, Delonte was selected 24th overall by the Celtics in the NBA draft. And he last played in the G League in 2015. So in 2008, Delonte made his way over to the Cavs, and things started off really promising for him. He had a famous buzzer beater. I would say probably the biggest shot of his career. In April of 2008, it was the first round of the NBA playoffs, and the Cavs were playing the Washington Wizards. And Delonte hit a three-pointer with like a couple seconds left that brought the Cavs to win the game, brought them to a 3-1 series lead, and they ended up advancing out of that round. That same year, though, major contrast, Delonte was also diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And that disorder, along with the stresses of NBA life, along with the fact that Delonte has said that as a child he struggled with drugs and was in and out of hospitals because of that, all of these things created a perfect storm where over the past 15 years or so, he has really been struggling, and the media has been following that struggle. And it's caused a lot of people to rethink the way that professional athletes are supported in their mental state during and after their careers. So let's start back in 2009. Delonte had a traffic violation that led to an arrest for weapons charges. He allegedly had some type of weapons in his car with him when he was pulled over. He was suspended for 10 games at the beginning of the 2010 to 2011 season because of that weapons charge. Years later, in February 2016, after he had played his final NBA game, Delonte was photographed in Houston, Texas, and he was barefoot in a hospital gown. And that's when really a lot of the trouble and concern for the public for Delonte started. A couple of months later, in June 2016, a photo of Delonte panhandling in Maryland went viral. And while Delonte indicated that he was not homeless, that he did have a place to stay, it was still concerning for people to see an individual who had made millions of dollars during his NBA career and who you would seemingly think was comfortable and put up was panhandling in public. In January of 2020, video circulated on the internet of Delonte in handcuffs on a Washington, D.C. highway. And he made his way to Dallas somehow. I don't know how he got there, but in September 2020, Mavs owner Mark Cuban ended up picking up Delonte in Dallas and taking him to get treatment and also providing him with a hotel room to stay in. Those of us that have experience with addiction, I have addiction in my family. I've had loved ones die of addiction. We know that addiction is a disease. So even if you get treatment, it's possible to relapse. And it feels like allegedly that's what happened with Delonte. Unfortunately, by July 2022, videos showed him again panhandling in Virginia. And later that year, in October 2022, Delonte was arrested on misdemeanor attempted theft charges, allegedly attempting to break into a car. My guess would be, allegedly to get money in order to procure illegal substances, but that's a guess on my part. By June 2024, Delonte was using illegal substances, which is proven by the fact that a police report issued in June 2024 stated that he was issued 2 doses of Narcan, which, thank God, saved his life. And later that month, same month, June 2024, even after being saved by Narcan, which is a type of medication that is used to reverse the bonding of the opioids to your brain, so it keeps them from overdosing you. So that's used with heroin, pills, anything that's an opioid. So even after being saved by Narcan, West did get filmed by concerned onlookers stumbling around a parking lot in Arlington, Virginia in June that same month. Again, we know that addiction is a disease and it's very hard to break that if in fact he does have an addiction. That's just a general observation on my part. And then finally in November 2024, that's the latest information I was able to find on him, that Delonte was accused of allegedly trespassing in Fairfax, Virginia. So we're sending him prayers and wishing him the best for recovery and wellness in his journey. On a lighter note, he does have a hip-hop connection in his heyday, even before all of this drama happened with him after his NBA career. So rapper The Game is clearly a Delonte West fan. I would never have known this other than the fact that I did a deep dive into Delonte West. I ended up finding some Game lyrics and being like, oh, The Game has talked about him in multiple different songs. So let's go through them. The first song is a 2011 track by The Game. The Game is a LA-based rapper that has been popular since the 2000s. And he was on a track with rapper Lil Wayne and rapper Tyler, the Creator. Tyler, the Creator is also an LA-based rapper. He's really innovative. He's really interesting. Lil Wayne is Louisiana-based. He is an icon in the hip-hop world. And so they name-checked Delonte on their song Martians versus Goblins. And this song is wild, man. Woo! If you listen to this song, just be prepared. It's not safe for work. It's a lot of really explicit stuff, and they make some wild claims about various major celebrities in the song. So I would recommend a listen, just for your entertainment purposes. But the reference to Delante in Martians versus Goblins is a bar where Game is describing a group sex scene involving himself, the Game, Delante West, LeBron's mother, LeBron James' mom, and the Cleveland Cavaliers cheerleaders. And so he's vividly describing this encounter, and that's where Delante gets mentioned. So that's an interesting fun fact about him. The Game also mentions him in, or actually, I'm sorry, Delante is also mentioned in the Game's song "Married to the Game," which is a 2014 track that is featuring French Montana. So it's actually French, another rapper, who mentions Delante. So I think the Game clearly has some respect for him and liked him during his heyday in terms of, thinking that he was a good player and stuff. So all the prayers and best wishes to Delante West. Okay. Last but not least, I have the piping hot tea for you guys. I didn't even really have to look this one up because I followed all of this drama from day one, and I've known the web that we weave here today like the back of my hand. So get ready for this one. I'm sure some of you guys know who I'm talking about before I even say it, because this dude is notorious. This is Cleveland Cavaliers current player Tristan Thompson. He is, in this photo, celebrating 700 games played with the Cavs. So he's a Cav through and through. He's played for some other teams, but he's mostly been a Cav for his career. So Tristan is 34. He currently plays for the Cavs right now, and he's a center. His position is a center. He was drafted to the NBA in 2011, fourth overall by the Cavs. So he was a super high draft pick, and he's had a long and pretty successful NBA career for the most part. He won a championship on that 2016 Cavaliers team, but the thing that he's most known for is being messy. And let's talk about why. He started his mess in 2016 by dating and impregnating Jordan Craig, who is a model and is in the entertainment industry. She was formerly married to the rapper Tyga. Tyga is close with Chris Brown. He was really like the epitome of like the 2010s, early 2010s rap scene. He had the song Rack City. He had a lot of like club bops, all that kind of stuff. So Jordan Craig used to be married to Tyga, and Tristan ended up dating her several years later and impregnating her. Now, in an interesting twist of events, Tyga went on to date Tristan's next girlfriend's sister. So Tristan's next girlfriend is named Khloe Kardashian, and she's part of the famous Kardashian-Jenner family. Khloe's sister is Kylie Jenner, and Kylie Jenner dated Tyga. So there's Tristan's connection to the hip hop world right there, off the bat. Khloe ended up dating Tristan while he was still expecting a child with Jordan. So while the baby was still gestating in Jordan's womb, Tristan decided that he did not want to be with Jordan anymore, and he went and began dating Khloe. So that tells you a lot about him from jump, and his behavior will only get worse. He's the epitome of, if somebody shows you who they are, believe them. So after getting with Khloe, she did end up getting pregnant by Tristan, and they welcomed daughter True Thompson in 2018. Shortly before True was born, Tristan was caught out clubbing, making out with multiple women, and cheating, which is how he got the nickname Tristan Third Trimester Thompson. After leaving Jordan while she was pregnant, now cheating on Khloe while she's pregnant. Tristan ended up weaseling his way back into Khloe's heart. You know, she's a soft heart. And then went on to cheat again with Kylie Jenner, who we just talked about, her best friend, Jordyn Woods. It's another Jordan. So Jordyn Woods became a pariah. She was panned throughout the entertainment industry, seen as a snake, seen as a backbiter, seen as a backdoor person, somebody who tries to creep on other people's men. Well, Tristan wasn't given the same treatment, and Jordyn ended up distancing herself from the Kardashian family and Jenner family, and she's now happily dating Karl Anthony Towns, who plays for the New York Knicks. So good for her. And while Jordyn went on to recover, Tristan has continued to be Tristan third trimester Thompson. In 2021, there is a woman named Maralee Nichols who came out and said she was pregnant by Tristan and that they were waiting on the birth of a son who was a result of an affair that Maralee and Tristan had while he was dating Khloe. Shocking turn of events. This affair occurred while their surrogate, Tristan and Khloe's surrogate, was pregnant with their second son. So again, during a pregnancy, he goes and cheats. And this time, he has a side baby. So Tristan's second son, Theo, is born in December of 2021. And then shortly thereafter, about 7 months later, in July 2022, Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson welcome their child Tatum via surrogate. So, you know, Tristan is the epitome of messy, but these other folks on the Cavaliers team, you know, they have their own bad boy stuff going on too. I hope you guys enjoyed the mess. Oh yeah, I also wanted to give you all the update from last week. So I was in San Francisco for my parents' anniversary. It was super fun. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. We ate so much food, drank so much wine. And then today, I'm dressed up again. I didn't even mention it. I was just like, y'all are used to seeing me dressed up at this point. I'm going to dinner with some of my girls tonight. So I'll share with you guys next time where we went, how it was, etc. But yeah, it is funny because I've been outside because every time I film a video, I'm getting ready to go out somewhere. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this ride with these NBA Bad Boys Part 2. And I look forward to coming to you next week with some new sports content.